ruler of the eighth in the seventh. That's one combination known to bring more longevity, because the house of the Lord of Death, the ruler of the eighth, goes into the 12th, where it's dissolved, into the 12th from itself, because the 7th becomes the 12th from this 8th, where it is dissolved. Anyway, but this is known for longevity, but it can also bring widowhood. It can bring the partner passing before you. And it can happen when you're 85 and your partner dies a year before you die, but it's still called widowhood, even if it's for 1 year. But I'm not saying everyone with this position will be a widow or a widower. Widower, I don't know how it's called, but definitely it's one of the possibilities, because eighth house can destroy, the rule of the eighth house destroys whatever house it goes into. The seventh house is, the life partner. Or it can mean that the first marriage is destroyed. Sudden changes happens in the first marriage. And it does not always indicate divorce, this combination. It can be worked through, but they would need some kind of therapeutical help, maybe work through psychologists, because something shocking happens in their relationship, some secret. Eighth house is the sudden reveal of secrets. When it goes into the seventh, sudden reveal in secrets between you and a partner, life partner. It might be an affair. Eighth house is secret liaison, secret relationships as well. It can get involved that in your marriage partnership there exists a secret relationship of some sort, and it can be a business partnership as well. That something suddenly, shockingly, some secret comes out to the surface, which disrupts the flow of the equal partnership. And there needs to be, for business partners, if you can gain the trust again, or if you can get stabilized, even if it's not like some lie, but maybe something suddenly happens to disrupt the relationship. And usually it's some secretive thing that comes to the service, or something out of the blue, shocking. Eight houses, shocking things happening. And so these people always have surprises in their relationship, especially in the first marriage-like relationship. But it continues throughout the life, because seventh house is a consignificator of relationship throughout. But with next marriage, it's easier, unless the ruler of the next marriage is also it's in the eighth house. So, But usually it means that there'll be the first life partner will be more secretive, and the first marriage partner might be dealing with something. The best case is that he works in eighth house careers. So he might be like a banker, working with other people's resources, working with confidential information, working with secret transactions, with taxes, working with private information, occultist, working with, I know someone's wife who has the rule of the eight in the seven, and her husband is an astrologer or occultist. Good. That's not gonna bring you divorce then, most likely. Also, and still sudden shocking surprises erupt as well in their marriage as well. Sudden shocking secrets come to them very quickly. Actually, they get revealed, and there's often the partner has some secretive actions, some mysterious activities that are not very obvious to the other partner. And it can be you who is doing it, because it's your horoscope of the rule of the seventh is in the eighth. It's not necessarily that the partner is doing it. You might be having some more secret things that are involved into your marriage, and that erupt to the surface and can disturb the relationship occasionally. And this relationship needs to have constant recycling. Like, if you want to keep a long-lasting relationship with this combination, one good advice is don't do like the typical traditional marriage. You can never, eighth house ruler, wherever it goes, you can't do typical things traditionally there, because it's the mystical, the occult, the shocking, the chaotic, the house of trying taboo things. So maybe that's the best thing is, like, don't live as a husband wife, but you don't have to get married, because the cycle, the eighth house rule brings such fast spinning changes that it's kind of can disrupt the contract. The fifth house is the contract, the agreement. and be flexible, be adaptable, and know that certain changes will be appearing in your personal and business relationship. There will be constant recycling of those. So if it's business relationships, you'll have a lot of different, like you work with a certain groups of clients, then you fully change and you start working with another groups of clients. So you work with with a business client, business partner, and then total transformation comes, and you start working with totally different business partners because things keep changing. They're not constantly, but periodically. Sorry, and it's in the big waves. So everything is okay, like a boof, big change. And in your marriage relationship as well, um, yes. So if it can be like you just have a child, you live together, that's okay. But otherwise, too much changes to keep things stable. And sometimes marriage can be destroyed by a secret, especially if the ruler of the eight is badly aspected, and can be destroyed by self-destructive behavior of the partner. And, my ex-husband had that, and I had when I was with him. I was his first marriage, first partner. He had the ruler of the eight and the seven. I had very self-destructive habits, and this is what destabilized the marriage, and that's why we broke up at the end. And actually, when we broke up, I stopped having those, which is funny. You almost like your chart starts. Whoever you attract, they'll act according to your chart, according to your seventh house, in your horoscope. But anyway, so this is the more darker side of the seventh house, upheavals in marriage. But also one's biggest transformation and healing comes from a partner or from a relationship, because one is, again, something very intense, deep can happen, but also a partner can be the reason for, like, um, for big trauma for you. But the partner, because as I said, the poison, the cure is in the poison, but also a partner, whether the same or another one, can be the reason for big healing in your life, and your transformation taking you to the next level. So that's as well. Maybe someone destroys you, something happens, and a partner appears to help you through this trauma. Maybe someone dies, and a partner appears and helps you through this it helps you go over the bridge. The eighth house is someone who helps you get over the bridge of big life transformations. But also he can be the reason, a partner, for those big life transformations. So it's one of the combinations that can lead to widowhood, sudden divorce, sudden revealing of sudden secrets, or secret relationships, whether if it's in your horoscope, it can be you or the partner that does it. The seventh house reflects. It can be you that has those secretive behaviors, or the partner. Or it can be that your partner is involved, like a surgeon, like a detective, occultist, all of those, or emergency worker, or healer of some sort. So it can be one of all of that. So that's best, actually. And like for me, my ex-husband, his first wife, was shown as the seventh house showed the ruler of the eight in the seven. I was an occultist, astrologer. So it manifests on many different levels simultaneously as well. But one always will tend to benefit from their spouse, business partners and spouses, because the ruler of the eight rules the money of the partners, whether personal or business partners, and it goes into the seventh. So the marriage contributes somehow, and the partner is very acquisitive. He's focused on material gains because it's like their second house. The eighth house is their second house. So it's as if the ruler of the second house is in their first house, the seventh. And because of that, they focus on creating financial, material stability, and often with this combination, you will benefit. But again, as I said, such people will be attracted to secret relationships. They'll find them enjoyable as well. And something taboo, something forbidden in the relationship. Their partner, they might even enjoy sex that is more taboo, that's quite intense, and their relationships have to be sexual. I mean, the rule of the eighth house of deep tantric sexuality is in the seventh house. They cannot have partners that they're platonic and that they stay friends with without sex. When this happens, something will disturb the relationship suddenly, just like it's the nature of the ruler of the 8th house to suddenly disrupt things, or they might start leading a secret. If the marriage starts becoming sexless without this deep tantric connection, one of the partners can start having secret imaginations or relationships or something like that. And if they get divorced, if you have this combination, get divorced, usually you'd receive assets from the spouse. Unless it's Saturn that's the ruler, maybe it's going to be less, but okay. And the one way to preserve your marriage is to introduce, because those sudden disruptive changes that happen in business contracts and in marriage, they have to be constantly kind of renegotiated, or they have to be reconfigured in some way, periodically. Every 2-3 years, they have something new erupts and shocks you, and you have to reconfigure, maybe even look for therapeutic, and like a psychologist can help your relationships. 8th house rules psychology, deep analysis, deep investigation into the unseen forces, why those eruptions are happening, why someone is suddenly self-sabotaging the relationship, or you are, or why those crises are happening. So 8th house ruler in the 7th half, have a marriage counselor. This will help you. Not for everyone marriage counselors help, but for these people it will help. Have very deep private conversations, maybe even study astrology and the occult to find the reasons, or psychology, self-investigation. This is what helps you. But also, as I said, in big crisis, what helps you as well is someone else that you speak on a one-to-one basis, the 7th house.